waiting to see if anyone trickles in here, but I did want to do a quick cover of the impending frost and snow that is approaching most of the southern states, I think with the exception of Florida, but also throughout the Midwest. It's probably already hit, coming into Texas tonight, specifically all the way down to Houston, Texas. Fortunately, I'm not as far north as, say, Denton or Fort Worth, where they've already gotten hit and they're going to get hit harder. We're anticipating temperatures as low as 12 degrees, give or take. And so I just wanted to go live, give you guys the opportunity to ask any questions, see what kind of infrastructure I have in place as far as the cold. But I'll go ahead and swivel the camera around, show you kind of some of the precautions that I'm taking. I know within my greenhouse, a lot of the tropicals and stuff I've already put inside. I could probably buy 25 degrees or so warmth in the greenhouse. I don't have much more than a heat lamp and some other things, but I don't trust it going down that low. Some of these things are tropical seedlings that could, potentially be hurt at 50 degrees. When we have these 30 degree dips in here and stuff, I'm perfectly fine with using the greenhouse. But the fact that we're going so low, yeah, I brought most of those inside. So I'll show you guys around a little bit. This banana's already been hit pretty hard, this Pisang Kalang, but I have this wrapped around the banana, and then I also have some plastic wrapped around it under that, and I have some pretty flimsy, I think it's like 3 mil plastic over it that's already been ripped throughout this winter. But I think my biggest bet here that I'm using around everything, these are actually, I'm not so worried about the willow, that's the trellis, but this is dragon fruit that I have wrapped up here. Dragon fruit's pretty cold sensitive. I do have, the Mexican sunflowers and a lot of things in play that will kind of protect things a little bit. I could bring this cactus inside though, but I have other cuttings and stuff. But I do have everything huddled here. I've already taken some duplicates inside or put some hardier stuff in the greenhouse already. So I'm gonna leave that clump there. It's in a corner. We'll hope for the best. Not a complete loss. The bananas I haven't thinned even when I've harvested, so they're kind of insulating each other, which is cool. So a lot of my trees I'm wrapping at least above the graft line. I think I still have hope for this white sapote, although it is blossoming. It's got blooms that I don't know if they'll make it. So again, any tropicals, you will see, I've talked about this in past videos. I've got Mexican sunflower kind of insulating a date palm there. I've got a tamarind that I did wrap the trunk on. I have an avocado seedling that is not even phased by the winter here. It's barely a year old. I do anticipate at least losing foliage, getting some burn, but I do have the trunk wrapped. I got a jackfruit here that's not loving this winter, but it survived near 30 degrees, below 30 degree temperatures already. And I do have that wrapped as well. So that's my main thing, is I haven't thinned anything out. I haven't pruned anything up. So we do have a lot of insulation here. Harvested some broccoli. Hey, what's up, the Gretna Experiment? Yeah, you guys feel free to chime in. Like I said, I'm just kind of covering what I'm doing. This moringa here, hey, what's up, Charles? Ivy Organics. So this moringa has a really thick trunk. Moringa is not cold hardy. In the 30s, I haven't even had to worry about this, but I do have it insulated. I got these from Whole Foods, no affiliation, but I've been lazy in ordering Whole Foods, and I've been hoarding these insulators for scenarios like this. I thought about using them for a greenhouse or something, but these worked out perfect. I'm gonna have to do a little something for I guess I have a Meyer lemon and another citrus here, but I haven't harvested any of this because I need all the infrastructure I can get. So, you know, maybe this will keep the ground just a little more insulated. You kind of have to choose your battles in these circumstances. But I do have a tarp here that I plan on kind of covering this a little bit. Luckily, the manure is all wet right now. Like, I haven't cleaned out in here, and that's actually adding a little bit of heat. It's radiating a little bit of heat, believe it or not. And so my citrus are close to that, so maybe I can get some of that. This is my tropical section here. Everything's clumped up really tight. Hopefully I don't lose tops, because this canopy, even if I lose it, it's still insulating. So, you know, I'll take anything I can get. I've got, this is actually rootstock avocado that's come back from the dead, but it is a hardier avocado. But I do have the trunk wrapped, and same principle. I'm keeping all this. I've seen people prune everything down and wrap it really tight, but guess what? All of this is going to insulate just a little bit. I wish I had a little more mulch, but I did grab people's leaves they were throwing out, and so that should help a little bit. Apple, I'm not worried about. There's no blossoms on it. Definitely gonna lose these papaya, feed them to the goats. I harvested some of the hardier ones. This Rio of the Cherry Grande, it's in a little microclimate here, although I've lost a lot of the papaya foliage. I'm crossing my fingers on it. I'm just gonna leave it. I have a pineapple guava wrapped up there. It was smaller, so I could afford to wrap the entire thing. I have all of this tarp pinned against my fence, but there's Mexican sunflower growing in here. There's a lot of insulation growing within there too, protecting some of my tropicals. And all my tropicals go to about here. But behind me, this is gonna help me with a lot of thermal mass. I have the koi pond. I have a lot growing around here. A bit of a canopy still left to kind of trap some of what little heat we have. I will be running a chimenea here and getting some radiating heat. I also have, yeah, things are a mess back here. It's winter, I'm not worried about it. I also have an indigenous kiln I made out of Ermonite and adobe, but I'm gonna be running that all night too. It's right next to the bees. They'll get a little warmth. We've only lost just a couple that probably ventured out for some last minute water or anything like that. But the bees are doing all right. They're in a really nice nook here too. And I'm gonna get a lot of this radiating heat radiating off that. So the bees should be good. And yeah, I've got lots of little things wrapped up and insulated as best as I can. Chickens are going nuts because it's feeding time. And so, yeah, my guava here, I wrapped up as high as I need to. I've had losses before. I'm not worried about losing it down to here. But I'm feeling really optimistic. In the front yard, there's not all that much to see. I will show you guys my greenhouse really quick. So yeah, things are a mess, so bear with me. And I've been scrambling around the past 2 days getting things in check. But this is my greenhouse. We're not getting a lot of sun, so I've since put blankets over it. We're in a carport. They won't get wet or anything. But I stick my hand in here. I don't have a thermometer right now. It is definitely significantly warmer in there. 25 to 30 degrees warmer when the sun's out. But I just put things like fig seedlings and stuff like that, or fig cuttings, things that could take a little chill, you know, down to 40s or 30s, but they won't be dying. But I've since taken all the tropicals out of there, put them in the house. So yeah, I've got some strawberries here. I'm just putting a little cardboard over them for the meantime. They should be able to make it, but I did want to salvage some of the fruit sets. Oh, you missed the beginning. Are you anticipating? Yes, I'm anticipating a deep freeze. This is Houston, Texas. It's projected to go down to 12 degrees. And not only that, but if you look at the forecast, let me throw things around here. If you look at the forecast, it's bouncing all around for like 5 days between. It's one thing when one night or 2 nights in a row it dips down to 30. We're starting, I think, at 20 tonight. It's gonna keep into the 20s throughout all day tomorrow while we get snow, possibly sleet, and freezing rain. And then that is going to dip all the way down into the 12s, maybe 10s. And that's going to linger for a little bit. And then it's not going to let up and be like 40 the next day. It's going to be 30 for the next 2 consecutive days, then dip down to the 20s again. I almost feel like even if I do make it out of this, tomorrow is going to be the worst. Even if I make it out of that, I feel like that dipping back down to 28 or, you know, even low 20s is going to be like the finishing move, like the pile driver that just, if anything was going to make it, it's usually that one last thing. You guys will have to excuse the audio. I do have an airplane overhead. But yeah, usually it's that pile driver that, you know, you think everything made it. So keep everything wrapped. I know it's not great to wrap everything, you know, over the entire duration of the winter or anything, but things will be okay if you have them wrapped for a week. And the crazy thing is, after this is said and done, it'll be 70 again. And I think I was telling you guys that I had a frost tolerance at Suma. I planted in there. I'm about to upload a video later. You know, it's been 70 for like a month. I thought the coast was clear. I thought we might get a little dip. I could cover it up, but this would kill it. So I dug it out. That's inside. It's probably not loving that I did a root prune on it and stuff, transplanted it. It just got settled. You got all my plants covered, awesome nightshade. And that's the thing. I've been in some of these Facebook groups and people are like, am I doing it right? This and that. It is going to get so cold that I don't want to deter anyone. You know, every little bit helps. But say, you know, some of these people put blankets over things. If it starts raining, those blankets are going to get saturated, possibly cause damage in other ways. The other thing is when we have dips, it's cool to cover your trees and retain a little bit of that ground heat. But we're going to have such cold temperatures for such a long duration that you're not going to get a lot radiating off the ground. This sucks. What are we saying about ice water? They did in Florida. Oh, okay. The old ice water sprinkler trick. That only works when you're getting a dip. When it's flirting with freezing, that'll prevent that kind of damage. And even if it gets like a little bit frozen, you get a little insulation, that's cool. When you have a deep freeze for a prolonged amount of time, that's actually going to do more damage than good. So if you guys missed the beginning, I'll show you real quick. I think the best thing you can do, and guess what? I haven't weeded either because my arborist hasn't come through, so I haven't gotten as much mulch as I wanted, but I'm getting plenty of living mulch, and that's actually going to help insulate a lot of things. But this is what these are moringa, but this is what I'm doing. I'm taking insulation. You guys can use noodles too. They're probably sold out because everyone's trying to wrap their pipes. But that's about all I'm going to do. I've also been through this a few times in the past, and not nearly as harsh. And I can say that you'll get out of it alive, but it comes to a point where you can't. I learned after some losses not to get completely attached to plants. I'll give you guys, my house is a wreck right now, but I'll see if I can give you guys a peek of what I grabbed from the greenhouse. But and anticipating things like this, when I propagate tropicals and stuff, I will propagate at least 2 of everything that I'm doing. If I know a winter's coming, I'll back up a specific variety with a graft or something and clone that. So I'll show you guys real quick inside. So this is just one portion of what I've done here, but you can see I've got some dragon fruit, backup bananas. I even took some things like, I have some yucca outside that I showed you, but I took a little nub there and I'm gonna propagate it as backup. But I have a lot of backup there. There's my son on the computer. And then my studio is just as full. I have bamboos and stuff, things that might survive, but if they're potted, why not just take them inside? It's only a week, not even, so. But I've got things like, what is that, durian seedlings. They would not last a minute out there. I've got starfruit and caramola, all sorts of tropicals in here. So let me run outside again. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions or anything, let me know. But I really just wanted to, before I have my heart-wrenching, hopefully not, hopefully I don't have a heart-wrenching after the freeze video, but I'll try to keep you guys covered. But I did want to just kind of breeze over what I'm doing as precautions. Of course, worry about your houses too. Keep the water dripping so the pipes don't burst. We don't, I'm from up north in Jersey, so I know some of this stuff, but not everyone knows that. You got your Peruvian apple? Yes, I brought my Peruvian apple cactus inside for sure. It's been fine dipping into these 30s and stuff the past couple months, and it's even gotten not, I know if you guys are familiar with, if cactus gets frostbite, it'll turn brown into mush, and just at most it's been a little bit discolored, kind of like a little bit more pale than, you know, that nice vibrant dark green or greenish blue hue. But no, it's doing fine. I have it inside. I've also propagated that too, so I have backup just in case. But yeah, everything that was potted I brought inside. Another tip for you guys in the south. Oh, nice nightshade. Another tip for you guys in the south, if you are trying to get to work or something after a freeze, or you're somewhere in a hurry, do not, I'm sorry, old lady Florida who loves herbs and other plants. Awesome. What's up in that? Yeah, don't pour hot water on your windshield. All you have to do is literally start it up, throw the heat on, let it run for 5 to 10 minutes, and then run the wipers and you'll be defrosted. But yeah, so I think in the past I've gone a little crazier trying to cover every single thing and everything. But I've come to learn that when you have rain, you're limited, because if you throw blankets or tarp over things, especially ice and rain and all that weight can do more harm than good. You know, I have things like Mexican sunflowers. This will get burnt to the ground, but all that insulation. I have a mandarin here where the roots are covered, but I have, this is the south-facing wall. I have radiating heat. I have, you know, the Mexican sunflower giving it some protection. This one I'm a little worried about. I have, but it's also in a good spot and it's made it through lots of winters, but I have a cinnamon tree and it's got lots of foliage, so I'm not going to mess with it. I still, I guess, should probably wrap the trunk right on the bottom just in case. But it has so much insulation, has my wall, it has the back fence, has the neighbor's house. I think we'll be all right. Okay, guys, so I don't want to leave this going on forever. I just wanted to give you guys some insight. Hopefully, I do feel pretty optimistic. I've planted things really tight and close, anticipating something like this from having lost things when I was just starting out and everything was spaced out and I had a bunch of little seedlings that I'd be worried about, to be honest. But I feel pretty confident that if nothing more, things will eventually spring back from the ground, or at least right above the grafts, because I have things wrapped and covered. But I think that'll wrap things up for this. I just wanted to touch base with you guys, give you a little insight and hopefully a little inspiration, and with these things, you can't control nature, but I will say anything that makes it through this, you know, you made it through this, you can make it through anything. But that's some of my mentality too. Let things, some of those avocado seedlings and stuff, they made it this far because they've been adapted for that, because I started them in the ground from seeds and they know what they can handle. So, all right, guys, I'm going to wrap things up. I appreciate everyone for tuning in and putting insight. If I see comments there after this video, I'll be sure and answer them for you. All right, guys.